3 reasons why working hard will never make you rich and what will. Okay, your parents gave you advice that make perfect sense in 1985. Okay, study hard, get a good job, save your money, work your way up. And if you follow that advice, you did everything right. And you got your degree and maybe you got your master's, right? You landed a job in an MNC and a bank or even a prestigious law firm. You're working late, you're hitting your KPIs, you get your increment, you're responsible with your money, and yet somehow you're still not rich or wealthy, right? Look at your APF statement. If you're looking at your savings and you realize at this rate you're going to be working until you're 60, maybe longer, and you start to ask yourself, am I doing something wrong? Well, actually, no. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just playing a game that was designed to keep you comfortable, but never wealthy. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why that is, okay? It's not to discourage you, but it's to free you. Because once you see this clearly, you can finally stop wondering why working hard isn't getting you where you want to be. Let me tell you something personal. I was that guy, that one who believed in the system, studied engineering, worked in the corporate life, right? Climb up the ladder. I thought I was doing everything right, and then in 2008, it hit. Okay, I got cheated out of 6.5 million, started the year completely broke, jobless, and deep in debt. How did this happen? I worked so hard, I did everything they told me to do. Then I realized working hard was never the problem. The problem was I was working hard in the wrong direction. I was building someone else's dream while my own wealth stayed stuck. See, I thought a good salary and good savings would eventually make me rich. But here's what nobody tells you. Your job is not a wealth building tool. Your job is a cash flow tool. And if you don't understand the difference between cash flow and capital, you will work your entire life and still end up middle class. Let me break this down for you. Because this is a shift that changed everything for me. And I've watched it change everything for hundreds of Malaysians who finally understood what I'm about to share with you today. Okay? Here's the first reason working hard will never make you rich. Your job gives you cash flow, not capital. And you may be thinking, what's the difference? Money is money, right? No, it's not, okay? Cash flow is money that comes in and goes out over and over again. It's like your salary, your monthly income. It pays for your life, your rent, your car, your groceries. Capital is money that makes money. It's your asset, it's your investment. Here's the real example. Okay, say you earn 6,000 a month and you're disciplined, you save 1,000 every month. In 30 years, you save 360k. Wow, it sounds impressive until you realize that's a 30 years of discipline, 30 years of saying no to things that you wanted, 30 years of living below your means for 360k. Now, let me show you a different path. What if instead of using just saving that $1,000, you use it to build capital? What if you put it into a property deal that you double your money in the next 3 years? What if you learn to invest into growth assets during your 30s and accumulate $500,000 by 40, right? Then convert that into cash flow assets that generate 2,500 a month for the rest of your life. Now, using the same 1,000 monthly, but has completely different outcomes because in the first scenario, you're focusing on cash flow. In the second scenario, you're building capital. And capital is what actually makes you wealthy. Your salary never does that for you, no matter how high it gets. Because salary is designed to fund your lifestyle, not to build your wealth. The moment most Malaysians get a raise, okay, their lifestyle inflates to match it. If they get a 2,000 raise, they move to a nicer condo or buy a nicer car. When they get a 4,000 raise, they start shopping at nicer malls and start taking nicer vacations. Cash flow increases, but capital, zero. So here's the second problem. When you're working for money, you're trading time, and you are going to run out of time. Think about it. You work 8 hours and you get paid for 8 hours. You work 10 hours, you get paid for 10 hours. You take medical leaves, no work, no pay. You retire, the money stops. You're on a treadmill. And the moment you step off, everything stops. Now compared to capital, capital works 24/7, right? While you're sleeping, your rental property is appreciating. When you're on vacation, your dividend stocks are paying you. When you are sick at home, your investments are compounding. Capital doesn't need you to be there. It works independently of your time. That's the fundamental difference between working for money and having money work for you. Here's what really gets me. We only have about 30 to 35 good working years in our life. And from 25 to 60, if we are lucky and healthy, that's it, right? That's your window. If you're spending all 35 years trading time for money, you end up at 60 with what? A nice EPF balance that you are slowly spending down until you die. That's not wealth, that's just delayed poverty. But if you spend the first 15 years building capital, then the next 20 years are completely different. Because now you're not dependent on your time anymore. You can work if you want to or not. You can take a year off, 6 months off, or retire at 50 because your capital is working for you. I learned this the hard way. After I lost everything, I realized I have been grinding for years, trading my time, my health, my relationship for a paycheck. And the moment the business failed, it stopped. That's when I decided, never again. I'm going to build assets that will pay me whether I show up or not. And that shift from trading time to building capital changed everything. Here's the third reason. Your salary is a ceiling, capital doesn't. Let me ask you, what's the realistic salary ceiling in your field? If you're an engineer, maybe 12 to 18K if you're a senior. If you're in finance, maybe 15 to 25K if you're in the manager level. Even if you're a doctor or lawyer, you should be looking at about 30,000 to 100,000 in the next 20 years. Don't get me wrong, those are pretty good salaries, but they're capped. Okay, that's only so high you can go trading time for money in the employment market. But now look at your capital market. If you invest 100,000 in the right properties, 3 years later it's worth 180, you've made $80,000. Not from working more hours, but because you made one good decision. Now, if you make 180,000, roll it into another deal, that's double. You can now have 360. Now do it again, 720. You see where I'm coming from? Right? Capital increases exponentially, salary increases slowly. There's a massive difference, and I've seen people go from 50,000 in capital to $500,000 in 5 years through strategic property and investment plays. Show me somebody who has went from 5K salary to 50K salary in 5 years. Doesn't happen pretty much, alright? And once you have enough capital generating, enough cash flow, you don't even need the salary anymore. You build yourself out of the time for money trap. That's real wealth. So let me tell you what wealthy people actually do, because they don't avoid jobs, they just use jobs differently. Wealthy people use their salary to fund capital accumulation. They leave 60 to 70% of their income, and the rest of it they invest aggressively. Not save, invest. They buy stocks, they buy properties, they buy assets, businesses, and things that appreciate. They learn how to leverage, how to use banks' money to buy assets, use other people's money to make money. They build side income streams, freelancing, consultation, small businesses, not because they need more money, but because they're building capital. Let me give you another example. A 35-year-old engineer earning $8,000 a month, instead of just saving, he took $30,000 that he had and used it as a down payment on an undervalued property. He renovated it for $15,000, sold it in 14 months later and made $85,000 in profit. He did it again and again. And in 4 years, he built $320,000 in capital while on an $8,000 salary. But he used the salary to fund capital building activities. Now that $320,000 is converted into dividend stocks and a rental property generating $1,800 a month. In another 6 years, he'll have enough passive income to cover his basic expenses. At 45, he can choose to work or not. That's what wealthy people do. They don't grind harder, they don't chase promotions desperately, they use their job as a tool to fund their wealth. That's the path I took after losing everything, and that's the path I teach Malaysians who are tired of working. And if you want to learn the exact framework, how to use your salary to build capital fast, how to find the right assets and investment opportunities, how to compress 30 years of working hard into 10 years of strategic wealth building, I'm running a free workshop, and it is going to be where I break things down. It's called BYOB webinar, Be Your Own Bank. Okay, the link is in the descriptions below. Let's walk through this together. I'll see you there.